Hello, my name is Gabriella, and my topic to present is my newfound hobby of raising succulents. In this presentation, I will be going over succulent care, growing and propagating, in other words, regenerating succulents, and finally, how to build a terrarium. I hope you enjoy. And this is my collection that I started with, some of which was given to me as a gift, and then I started buying my own. This is how it got started. Okay, so care for a succulent involves a number of factors, but I promise you it is not all that cumbersome. I keep mine as an indoor plant just because it is easier to control the elements, such as water intake. I started this hobby a little before the semester started, I guess as a distraction to keep me busy when I was stressed with schoolwork. So they need a spot with lots of sunlight, and they don't require a lot of water, which is nice. They're similar to the cactus family. Watering them with a spray bottle once a week is sufficient. Too much water, which can happen with the pouring method, can cause mold and kill these plants. So wait until the soil is fully dry before rewatering. I also heard about ways to fertilize or feed them. My friend gave me food pellets that are for bonsai trees, actually, and said it could work with succulents. They look like fish food tablets, and you just dig them in the dirt a little, and with mine, I've definitely seen some growth. Next up, we need to give the succulent the proper environment with their soil. From my research, a pot with good draining system is key. These pictures just show an example of the layers that you can do. So I created mine with putting rocks at the bottom. I used clay pots so that the soil on the bottom doesn't get waterlogged. They say you can add sand next, but I didn't have this, so I added moss. Next, I bought some cactus soil, because remember, they're in the same family, and this soil has good drainage, and it gets less muddy with water than potting soil does. And to add some decoration on top, you can dress it up with small rocks or pebbles. You're trying to create a desert-like environment. This next step fascinated me, actually. Succulents regenerate pretty easily, but it takes time and patience. The leaf of a succulent can form a new plant. Even the stem itself can form buds of a baby plant. So I tried this with some leaves at the bottom of my plants, or with leaves that would fall off while repotting. I just grabbed the desired leaf of the plant, wiggled it, and twisted it in a motion until it snapped off. Then you're going to want to let it sit out without being watered for a few days until a callus forms on the end, kind of like a scab, which is shown on the left picture. Once that happens, you can put them in soil or whatever it is. A better root development method is using this peat moss. So you can stick the calloused end of the leaf in the moss about ½ an inch, spray it with the water bottle every day, and it'll form roots, which will eventually be a baby plant. On the top picture, you can see the roots starting to form, and then the lower one was a baby plant. And then it'll get bigger, as the right picture shows. This makes it fun because once you start your collection, you can help it grow and propagate new succulents, like a little farm. Hens and chicks are a different type in the succulent family that actually produce their own offspring without the propagating method. This variety is called sempervium, which actually translates to live forever since they regenerate so easily. When the chicks form, they are attached to individual stems surrounding the hen. In this picture to the far right, when I took it apart, the chicks, they actually grew equal in size to the hen, and they desperately needed repotted. And to do this, you just take them out of the pot, twist, and the pull method, um, while keeping the new stem intact in order to root them down. They also have stringy roots of their own, and eventually they will produce their own chicks someday. And lastly, terrariums. These are basically a small house for your succulent in an environment that you create. I've never made one until this presentation, so that's what consumed most of my time on my day off on Thursday. There are no rules for making a terrarium. I just had this nice stone and glass curved terrarium purchased a few weeks ago, but didn't get a chance to put it together until this week. So similar to the pots, I tried to create a good drainage system by laying down the foundation with a few big rocks. I also learned that charcoal is a good purifier to keep the terrarium clean. I added some cactus soil and placed my plants in their new home, giving them enough space between each plant. I carefully added white sand around the top layer and then dressed the top of it with a trail of small pebbles and decorative looking stones that I found in my garden. After the process, I think the white sand looks a little bit like snow, so maybe I can use it in the wintertime for Christmas decorations. But in any regard, it was fun to create, and I made several others that are not shown in a globe-like glass and some small mason jar terrariums for home decor. So I hope you got to learn something new from this presentation. Thank you.
Okay.